It was quite shocking to me to learn of the egregious violations of the law of the Southern Poverty Law Center was committing. And I think that's a story that should be on the front page of every newspaper in this country because they've obviously been duping their supporters and the American taxpayers for far too long. It's a criminal organization, clearly, and that's not our DOJ saying that or Todd Blanche saying that. That's a grand jury indictment saying that. You guys all see a lot of different messaging coming out of Iran. A lot of different rhetoric and language from them. I would caution you to take anything that they say at face value. What we've seen is that what they say publicly is much different than what they concede to the United States and our negotiating team privately. I've said that repeatedly to all of you in the news media, and you should take our word for it. Obviously, there's a lot of internal fraction and internal division, which again just proves the effectiveness of Operation Epic Fury in the first place. Their regime and many of its leaders for nearly 5 decades have been wiped off of the face of planet Earth. So again, the president's offering them a little bit of flexibility because we want to see a unified proposal to the president's very strong proposal. And he's made his red lines very clear. Again, the United States maintains control over this situation, leverage over the Iranian regime. Not only have they been significantly weakened and obliterated militarily, but they are losing economically and financially every single moment that passes with this blockade. So the president is going to continue to lead the free world, to run the United States of America as we await the Iranian response. Let's level set on where we are. As you all saw yesterday, President Trump announced an extension of the ceasefire. He's maintaining and generously offering a bit of flexibility to a regime who has been completely tarnished because of Operation Epic Fury. There's obviously a lot of internal division. This is a battle between the pragmatists and the hardliners in Iran right now, and the president wants a unified response. And so as we await that response, there's a ceasefire with the military and kinetic strikes, but Operation Economic Fury continues, and the effective and successful naval blockade continues as well of ships and vessels that are moving to and from Iranian ports. We are completely strangling their economy through this blockade. They're losing $500 million a day. The Kharg Island is completely full. They can't move oil in and out. They can't even pay their own people as a result of this economic leverage that President Trump has inflicted over them. So he's satisfied with that as we await their response, and we will see. The president has not set a firm deadline to receive an Iranian proposal, unlike some of the reporting I've seen today. Ultimately, the timeline will be dictated by the commander-in-chief and the president of the United States. Look at where we are right now. The president chose to extend the ceasefire because it's Iran who needs to get their acts together. The United States and President Trump have been very clear in our demands and our red lines and what we need to see in the best interest of the American people and our country and our allies from the very beginning.
Netanyahu mengenakan rompi anti peluru dalam perayaan Hari Kemerdekaan Israel tepat pada Hari Nakba Palestina. Dalam perayaan, Netanyahu mengundang Presiden Argentina Javier Milei.
אני מבקשים להביע תודה והוקרה לכלל כוחות הביטחון, לוחמי צה"ל ומפקדיו, אנשי השב"כ והמוסד.
Dikutip dari Gaza Updates, Netanyahu mengenakan rompi anti peluru di balik jaketnya dan menyambut Javier Milei. Milei menjadi undangan khusus Netanyahu berpartisipasi dalam perayaan nyala obor. Menandai kedekatan mereka dan dukungan Presiden Argentina untuk Israel. Bahkan Milei mempersembahkan sebuah lagu berjudul Libre atau Kemerdekaan di Yerusalem Barat pada Selasa malam. Perayaan bersamaan dengan 78 tahun Hari Nakba, di mana 700.000 warga Palestina diusir paksa oleh Israel. Yang merayakan Hari Kemerdekaan negaranya, tentara Israel melakukan upacara di reruntuhan rumah-rumah warga di sejumlah wilayah pendudukannya. Bendera Israel berkibar di reruntuhan rumah warga di Lebanon Selatan, tepi barat, dan Gaza. Pasukan Zionis Israel menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan dan menggelar upacara kemerdekaan di tanah jajahannya. Israel sebelumnya telah melakukan serangan darat ke Lebanon Selatan. Mereka bahkan mengusir hingga menghancurkan rumah warga di sana. Di Masjid Al-Aqsa, pesawat militer Israel terbang rendah. Riuh suara mesin dari pesawat perang Israel menarik perhatian warga. Di halaman Masjid Al-Aqsa, penduduk Israel juga merayakan hari kemerdekaannya. Mereka berkumpul, bernyanyi, dan mengibarkan bendera Israel. Otoritas Wakaf Islam di Yerusalem mengecam tindakan ini yang dianggap sebagai pelanggaran hukum internasional. Pemirsa, aktivis Global Summut Flotilla mengganggu kapal kargo MSC Maya yang tengah berlayar. Kapal ini mereka yakini membawa material untuk senjata Israel. Dikutip dari Al Jazeera, gangguan terhadap kapal kargo MSC Maya dilakukan para aktivis di Laut Mediterania, Senin 20 April. Lebih dari 20 perahu yang membawa aktivis Global Summut Flotilla menyebar di sekitar kapal kargo. Aktivis Global Summut Flotilla meyakini kapal MSC Maya membawa material senjata untuk Israel dengan tujuan ke pelabuhan Asdod dan Haifa.
The Mediterranean Sea with the Global Summut Flotilla, and we are aiming to directly target and disrupt the machine of genocide. This ship right here, the MSC Maya, is carrying essential supplies going directly to Ashdod port in Israel, making it possible for them to continue to ethnically cleanse and eradicate an entire population. We call on you to rise up and target points in your community or country. Ports, factories, or anything that is making the machine of genocide continue.
Sementara itu, pemirsa, tentara Israel mengeluarkan video saat menginvasi Lebanon Selatan. Serangan tanpa henti Israel menyebabkan kerusakan di sejumlah titik dan korban tewas mencapai lebih dari 2.000 orang.
Militer Israel membagikan video saat tank-tank mereka menginvasi darat Lebanon Selatan. Warga di Lebanon Selatan juga diusir dari rumah-rumah mereka yang sebagian besar sudah hancur akibat serangan Israel. Israel bahkan masih dilaporkan membakar sejumlah rumah warga. Serangan tanpa henti Israel ke Lebanon menyebabkan kerusakan luar biasa di sejumlah titik. Rumah-rumah warga rata dengan tanah dan lokasi terdampak paling parah berada di kota Taibeh, Nabatiyeh hingga Bin Jebel.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar ya Muhammad ya Allahu Akbar!
Israel beralasan serangan dilakukan untuk menghancurkan infrastruktur Hizbullah. Namun nyatanya korban yang jatuh mayoritas adalah warga sipil. Media setempat melaporkan serangan Israel di Lebanon telah menewaskan 2.378 orang.
Serangan militer Israel ke Lebanon menghancurkan sejumlah jembatan. Akibatnya 2 orang yang hilang sejak serangan Maret lalu ditemukan tewas tertimbun.
Tentara Israel menyerang jembatan di atas Sungai Litani pada 13 Maret. Sejumlah jembatan lain juga menjadi Israel dengan alasan bahwa Hizbullah menggunakannya untuk menyeberang dan mengangkut senjata, roket, dan peluncur roket. Pada hari Senin, tim penyelamat Lebanon menemukan jenazah 2 orang yang hilang setelah serangan udara Israel menghantam jembatan di atas Sungai Litani. Paman dari salah satu korban mengatakan bahwa setelah meninjau rekaman pengawasan, dipastikan bahwa keduanya sedang menyeberangi jembatan pada saat kejadian.
اجت الضربه وانفقد قطرين. بعد التواصل مع الجيش قال انه على طول عاونا اجينا على المحطه لهون، سحبنا الكاميرا وشفنا ان السياره هن فيها اوطى سعه الضربه.
Media setempat mengatakan Angkatan Udara Israel melakukan 2 serangan udara beruntun yang menargetkan sejumlah jembatan. Jembatan Kasmiyeh yang hancur adalah penghubung terakhir yang tersisa antara wilayah Tire dan kota Sidon.